So in this tutorial, we're going to look at different ways of splitting up our mesh into separate UV shells or UV islands. So this mesh currently, this cylinder this is the default layout, as seen before in some of the other UV basic videos. So we have three separate UV shells here, or UV islands. We've got the top, we've got the bottom, and we've got the side on here as well. So I'm going to look at some other ways to split these meshes up. So what I'll do first is I'm going to change these UVs. So let's just go into the create menu and just going to do a planar mesh just from the side, just so we are essentially breaking this. So now just go to UV mesh. You can see this is just going from the x-axis on the side. So essentially broken it. But I'm not looking at creating a UV layout here, just ways of splitting these up. So where are we in? We've got a couple of menus in the cut and sew that we can do this, as well as doing this manually. So what I can grab, say, the faces around the side here. And we can just go into this create UV shell. So click on this. This will separate them out. If I go into my UVs now, let's just grab this bottom set here. And we can drag that out of the way. So we just split those apart. Then we've got the top and we've got the bottom there. I know we can't see them. We don't have to do some form of projection on those. Just to show you, we can split these apart. Okay. So that's one way of doing this. We can go in and we can just grab our edges. We can go in and we can cut those. Same with the bottom. We can go in and cut those. And again, if I just click on these, we can separate them off as well. Down here, it actually tells you how many UV shells we have. So there we have, we've got one of three selected. So we have 3 UV shells there in total. Okay. We can also go in here and we can select anything else from this. So say I wanted to split up another part of this. I can go in, and again, we could either do our cut on the edges or we can do a create UV shell on this part. And again, we can just separate those out. So we can break our mesh into different UV shells to be able to deal with these individually. Okay. Let me show you another way as well. So let's get this again. Again, I'll just do a planar map, default planar map from the x-axis on this. Just to do this. And another way of doing this is actually with this auto seams. So the way that auto seams works is it will work on the hard edges of our model. So currently the hard edges of this model are around the, basically, if I just get edge selection, this edge here and this edge here are by default hard edges on this, which means that it's not trying to smooth out between this face and this face. It's keeping those separated with this edge. The equivalent to smoothing groups and other pieces of software, but Maya uses hard edges. So just as a visual reference on this, I'm just going to go into display, polygons, and just go down to, where are we? Hard edges color. Let's just click off. Why is that not done that? Let's try that again and modify, display. Display polygons and go in hard edges. There we go. Just to color those out. So here you see we have these defined by this pinky color. They're the hard edges on this model. So any one of these I can go in on these. Need to switch something else off. Go back into my standard edges for a second. Let's just click on an edge, for example. Go to mesh display, and I can harden that edge. And it's just take off my wireframe and shaded, so you can kind of see that edge now. It's a hard edge. It's not smoothing between this poly and this poly anymore. So again, let's go back to my display, polygons, and hard edges again. And there you see, we've got that as a hard edge now. So that essentially is how this auto seams works by default. So let me go back and just switch this back to standard edges there. And what I'll do is I'll just grab this edge again, and I'll just go into mesh display and soften that edge off. So I can grab this, we can go to auto seams. And what that hopefully has done, but it hasn't. Come back on this. Let's just reset this again. Yeah, let me just make sure that these edges are hard, and I'll go in and actually check the options for this as well. So let's harden edges. If I shift click on any of these tools, we go into the options. So auto seams, there we go, because it's on automatic. If I cut along hard edges there, have that clicked on, let's click apply on there, and there we go. You can see that these are selected in orange now, which denotes that that has, let's grab this, split those out as well. Okay, bit of a long-winded way around that, but that can be quite useful if you know you've got hard edges on a model and you want to break that into UV shells based on those hard edges. Can be a quick way to actually split a model apart. So that's a couple of ways of getting individual UV islands or UV shells within your mesh.